What up, what up, what up, what up to another episode of JebenaTalk. You guys already know who we are. Today's episode is going to be about something that we all kind of deal with, or we all have suffered with, and some of you guys are going to go ahead and suffer with it. Today we'll be speaking on student loans.
Wait a minute. Yo, hold on. You say student loans?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold on.
Are you out to chime in for us?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So
yes, sir.
It is one of those things within our community, parents and friends not speaking about it the way it needs to be spoken about. You feel me?
Yeah.
Student loans.
Man, you got besoin
Oh, man.
Introduce yourself.
I like the way you just came in this
It's a touchy subject, and I think people should absolutely be informed.
Oh, sure.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
So to start it off, what is student loans? You know what I'm saying? I know it's something that you use to pay school debt.
In order to get to finance your higher education, when it comes to going to college, university, whether it's private or public, definitely it's one of those things you have to pay for. You know what I mean?
Absolutely right. And the interesting thing within the federal, side of it, there's actually types of student loans, right? So we're talking about, you have your subsidized, you have your unsubsidized, and you have your parent plus, where you actually have to get your parents to sign it for you.
I remember that.
Really, the difference between, the difference between the subsidized and unsubsidized is that, subsidized is they get the interest actually starts accruing after, you graduate. Unsubsidized, your interest hits when you say I accept.
Yes,
right?
You just sign it.
You get in there. Exactly.
So, no, that's the thing. I don't think within our community a lot of people understand the difference between what kind of options you have when it comes to only the loan aspect. I know there's different kind of loans that you gotta pay, private, and there's also federal.
Right.
I know you probably hip to it. So
yes, sir. And let's kind of dig deep, right? Mm-hmm. Let's fix our glasses. Let's talk about.
I'm legally blind. Right? That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm
legally blind.
I swear to God, you know what I'm saying?
Let's
yes,
sir. So for the federal rates, we're looking at for the actual fixed rates. They range between 4 to 17, right?
Yeah, no, 4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Yeah,
my bad. 4 to 7, and then for the variable, right? It starts from 1 to 14, right?
Yeah, but that's for the private.
For private,
yeah,
that is true. Good catch for private, and the difference is really between your fixed and your variable is that fixed is as soon as you take that rate, whatever they give you is what it is.
It is, yeah.
Right, but with the variable, you have a bunch of things let's say, for example, it really depends on the details, right? The devil in the details, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
Right, so we're talking about maybe after a year they can change it to whatever the current market rate is.
Yeah, depending on the economy. So if the economy is going up, or if it's going down, exactly. So when it comes down to it, you have to make sure with any kind of documents, because when you sign that, or you have a co-signer, you sign that, you have to bind, you're locked in. And a lot of people don't understand that aspect of it. You feel me?
Nobody reads the terms and conditions. They just sign and keep it pushing, bro.
Exactly.
It's 300 pages.
Bro, people ain't even read that textbook that's 250. Yeah, bro.
And it's one of those things, but it is, it is what it is. But at the same time, within our community, we don't talk about it as much.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even myself, I didn't know that, there is an amount that you can max out on in terms of loans, and there wasn't, undergrad, I think it was 57,000, and then for grad school, it's 138. So it's when you put in those factors, I literally didn't know this until I started doing the research.
For me personally, when I went to college, it was one of those things where nobody hit me to the game. You feel me? I didn't know what was going on. I was able to get more for my student loans because my pops didn't make as much.
Again, it's a good and bad thing.
At the same time, it just shows that incomes matter. You feel me?
For sure.
The chances are, if your parents or whoever is independent, if you're dependent, of course, you claim yourself. But if you're independent, if your parents making more money, then the chances of you getting more money or more loans into your student account would be lower.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things. But when it comes down to it, what are the loans for? I mean, the more
I think people kind of mess that up because there's stuff that it's intended for you to use it for, which is like your tuitions, which is your books, your room and board, and other like small fees like that. And then there comes a time where we all have these people who tend to take that money and do things that they don't need. You know what I'm saying? Your unintended expenses, your McDonald's, your flowers, your dates and stuff like that.
No
your bottle service.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I'm a gentleman.
College.
You know what I'm saying? My mom taught me. You know what I'm saying? You bring flowers.
Mr. Kerr used his college money for flowers.
It's like nah, but no, you know what I'm saying? There's your intended and then your unintended.
No, definitely not. From personal view, like with me at least.
Yeah.
My mom's was one of those moms, like, she have an accounting background. She's always like, if you ever take a loan or anything that have interest in it, not except that one of them, but it's also, she's, very churchy when it comes down to, like, life in general. And she always hit me with the Bible quote where it says, if you ever own anybody money, you're a slave to them. Not to mention the interest aspect of it, but you're literally indebted. So
like
until you pay them off, you're not free. So within that, what I learned was like when it comes to debt, it's like one of those things where it rings out a alarm where don't do it because you're gonna be a slave. Low key, and that's what they're doing to us. If you really think about it, you know what I mean.
You see that refund check come into your account, bro. People kind of lose that aspect of like responsibility. Like, I just got $5,000.
No, bro.
Time to go splurge. It's like, nah, bro. Like, be smart. You give that $5,000 back. Don't play yourself.
I ain't even gonna lie. I had best friends, roommates, where they would take out money where they really don't need it, but they're like, once I graduate, I'm gonna get a nice job anyway, so
I can pay it back.
Exactly. And I have friends that paid for cars and you name it. Like once that refund check comes in,
break, brother. You know what I'm saying? How we going to Cancun?
And it's tough because we don't understand the consequences, especially being in that being in the environment you're in, being the age you are. Like I had. Good friends of mine, when that refund check do hit in, guess what? You got fresh Jordans looking clean. By the end of the year, they got stains on your shirt, right? No, because they got for laundry. Until the other check comes in, right? No,
spring semester.
Bro, those things where actually I can quote one of my friends say, meaning you're taking it out of your wallet. Not from your body, so you like low key speaking. Part. Yeah, no, like your butt, like you're not cutting it off. You're
not cutting a piece of yourself off.
Exactly. So it's from your pocket. So at the end of the day, whenever you have things coming out of from your pocket, you can repay it and you're good to go. You know what I mean? You don't have to suffer from it.
Oh, people are suffering from this stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm hit, bro.
It's crazy. Like when you think about it, I think what the national debt for this is like $1,680 billion.
Right.
And that's between 45 million people. So
and that's in the U.S. Right?
Just in the U.S.
In the U.S. only. That the GDP for Europe is $95.5 billion.
It's like
it's okay, y'all. We're gonna get there. We're gonna match the civil on that pretty soon. Don't worry.
That's crazy,
if you really think about it, that's a very big number. Like it's one of those things where we cannot keep. Like we gotta help our peoples up, especially the younger generation that's coming up. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be who's gonna be the next one. That's gonna make it to $2 trillion after once they get into it.
And then you're talking about like even within every second, we're talking about $2,800 and like almost $2,000 something every freaking second, right? That is added to the debt. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like before you know it, by the next generation, bro, you definitely gonna be at $2 trillion. No,
bro.
Unless my guy Bernie Sanders
eliminate student debt.
You making fun of it and everything, but it's one of those things that can actually affect your credit scores. And within America, like if you don't have your credit scores right, it's one of those situations.
Perfect example. Like even myself, like I try to buy a car. I thought, student loans, it's not gonna pop up on that. Psych. They're like, sir, you might want to take care of some of these things before or get a cosigner, buddy. Right now, you can't do it.
And that's exactly what banks look at, right? They look at like some, if you guys have some time, each out your debt to income ratio, right? Mm-hmm. So, along with a bunch of other factors, right? Missed payments, and so on and so forth. So, but that's kind of one of the major factors that do affect us when we do pursue car, home, loan, a motorcycle,
businesses.
You trying to get some shirts on a credit card, you might get denied.
Oh yeah, that is what it is though. Yeah. I mean, like low key speaking, that's the truth. Because I went through it. Because it was one of those things where majority of the time when I'm talking to my buddies that went to school with me, you know what? It's one of those things where if you wait 7 years. First of all, I don't have 7 years to
just sit here and wait. Like I don't want to buy a house for the next 7 years. I want to get a car for the second.
Yeah.
Like
so
brother,
you this student loan that you were trying to further your education and like make your parents proud and but when it comes down to it, it's a trap where you fell into where you can't do nothing. You get like literally handcuffed. Yeah, literally handcuffed.
You could just move to Canada and start a whole new life.
Hey, bro.
No.
You can use that lesson, and then once you get to that place, make sure you take it.
No, I mean I'm lucky. No, I'm lucky enough to be one of those that actually paid off their student loans and be able to function within the community. But we talk about Corona being a pandemic, right?
Oh, but this is a generational pandemic. I mean, it's been happening for decades upon decades upon decades, and it's going to continue until it's something that's taken care of. I mean, think of it like this. What is it? The national average for student debt is around $80,000. If you're in the medical field, like let's say you want to be a dentist, it's $290. If you want to be just any kind of like your basic medical, it's around $201,000. So it's like when you're looking at those statistics, it's like earthquake. Like you literally have a house before you even buy a house that you got to pay off.
Exactly. And the crazy part is you can even refinance your student loan. Bro, that to me that's crazy. Because I refinance
straight on your student loan.
It's so cool. No, dead ass, bro. Nothing on it. Because that's like for me, it's like like how can you do that to the younger generation that's coming in and trying to change their projection of like how life can be once they get their education. And
it's crazy because when it comes to education, like especially amongst our grouping or African Americans, Black, the women are the ones who are leading the pack in everybody, like from white men, Asian men, women, whatever. African American women are the number one degree earners right now.
Since they are the most educated, they're the most driven, they sought out to not even one master degree. There's people with 2, 3, 4 master degrees out there.
So what they're not letting you know is the compound of all that debt. Like by being that number one degree getter, you're also going to be the number one person in debt.
Exactly. So when it comes down to it, the African American women in general are the ones that are holding on to the most debt when it comes down to the numbers we are talking about right now. Yeah. So
it's just you have to be financially informed, right? Yes. And you just have to understand of what you're taking on, right?
No, definitely. And the other thing is like when it comes down to it, of course, like Sammy said, there's a federal and a private loan, right? So when it comes to the private loans,
they sharks.
Predatory
lending, bro. After a while, especially towards minorities.
Exactly. So when it comes down to it, they putting us in this trap where once your loans are due, you're paying so much more in interest.
Yeah.
You can't even pull yourself out of that.
And the insane part of that is that Hispanics and African Americans actually tend to kind of it's kind of like predatory lending. They end up with the high rates.
Yeah, they get hit the most.
They get hit the most, right?
Yeah, that's with the same thing with the house market and things in that nature.
Yeah, we're talking about that's something else. We're talking,
redlining and stuff
that,
like
right?
that.
Yeah. So that's just crazy.
But what's the craziest part is like majority of the people that we're talking about right now
aren't even people in college. You know what I'm saying? They're not people just finishing it up.
Yeah, they're our age.
Yep.
You know, like
They've been done.
Yeah, exactly. So 30 to 44 years of age hold the majority of this debt that we're talking about. What is that? Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 1.6 trillion. What was the number? The
national total is 1,685 billion. But
we're gonna repeat that. We're gonna repeat that.
What he's trying to say is 1,685 billion.
There you go.
397,167,995 people.
So that's too much people at the end of the day.
So that number.
45 million people.
Exactly, 45 million people, and majority of them are black women. So I'm one of those, like, I believe, like, literally, like, no cap.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Put the cap on me. Put the cap on me. No bull.
Put the turban on.
There is no end in education. You feel me? Like, you always have to be a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, but also be aware of what's going on within. You know,
it's home when you're out of school, and then when you start to get those letters, and then, you know what I'm saying, when life hits you hard, life hits you, you know what I'm saying? Right.
It's, yeah, definitely. No, I'm with you on that one. But personally speaking, like, my pops wanted me to be a pharmacist or a doctor or an engineer, right?
92.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You went in other millions
of people. You feel me?
Millions of foreign parents.
So,
no,
I'm telling you, bro. It's one of those things. Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, and the numbers were like crazy amount of numbers when it comes to the medical field, things in that nature. But
200,000.
The professional aspect of it, right?
I don't discourage, you know what I'm saying, as you know, as a student, you absolutely have to kind of know what's out there, right?
For sure.
But you know what I mean? What are these? We gotta talk about the solutions. What are these solutions to actually, like, you know what I mean? Instead of going out and, you know, racking a bunch of debt.
Oh, for sure.
What are we looking at?
I mean, I would say know the difference between, like, deferments and, you know, and defaults. Know that
that's exactly right. And then and the biggest, I'm glad you brought that up, because the biggest, you know, differences are when you're deferring your loans. Let's say, for example, you just graduated, you're looking for jobs, right?
Corona, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So
there's 40-some million.
Deferment, like, how does that happen, right? You got to actually take initiative. Say, hey, Sally Mae.
Yes. That phone call.
I need you to hold on off I can't make payments right now, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, like, you know, you got that question. It's like, well, how do I know that I'm actually, you know what I mean, in default?
Yeah. You get that letter from collections. Like,
that means you're in denial. You haven't paid your payments, right?
That's when you get letters like, hey, we passed your loan to somebody else. They're going to become collecting.
There's grants. And I know you're left-handed.
You get a scholarship for being left-handed. There's so many random scholarships, bro.
That you can apply for.
Having blue eyes, being left-handed, being an athlete.
My Ethiopian track runners, where you at? You can run to your scholarship. That's right.
You've been watching Arsenal and Man U for years, Liverpool, like, but that's skill to use.
No.
And so this is some of the things that you can utilize, right?
Yeah. Sure.
A lot of people don't know that there's a dedicated career center in your high schools, right?
High school, college, you can go in there.
Also,
right?
like, you know yourself, man. I feel like people kind of, like, play themselves by, like, oh, I have to get this college experience and go out of state, not realizing you're about to double your tuition amount, living expenses.
And this is exactly why I do recommend community college, right? I mean, I personally, right? I highly recommend. You know what I mean? You know, absolutely get yourself, you know, get to know things, you know what I mean? Like, play with careers, you know. Be smart. Now we have Google, we can search absolutely.
Like, this goes out to all the younger generation.
For sure.
Right.
Before you take into this massive debts,
Go explore.
Right. Go find out what you want to do. And it is one of those situations where we were talking about, you were giving me stats on how our generation can't make their decision. I call them the Netflix generation, because you know how you try to watch a Netflix and you be there 30 minutes? It's one of those things where you make a freaking decision and go with the freaking decision so that you don't waste time. Because I had friends, they were in junior year, And I'd be like, yo, bro, what you studying? Yeah, I'd be like, I'm still undecided. I'm like, I known you for 3 years, bro. You still undecided? So you took on 90,000 plus loans and you still undecided? You don't know what you want to do yet, bro? I think I want to do podcast.
It's good. No, look. I think now we have a bunch of things that we can utilize, right?
Exactly.
We can utilize YouTube. We can utilize Google to see, and we can utilize LinkedIn.
I am literally a YouTube low key fanatic.
Right.
Like within the rental properties, like I usually go in there and it shows you like. Bro, it shows you everything. If you want to fix career-wise,
if you want to be a plumber, like my man, aspirations, right?
You feel me? You can go learn.
So, but just bro, I mean, like, there are people. I definitely want to say there are people that are willing, right? Make yourself a link. Make yourself a LinkedIn account. You know what I mean? Make yourself a LinkedIn account. Message me like, hey, look. I don't know if Elon Musk is going to reply to you, but try people that, you know, if you want to work
you can actually
you could just reach out to, just be like, hey, look, I'm interested in doing this. What's up? You know what? I think we might leave our emails if you know.
Yeah, no, we can definitely do
if you're interested in the tech industry, if you're interested, you know what I'm saying? We will do that.
Sammy, actually, he's in IT, so he can definitely, like, if you're interested in the IT aspect of it,
he can definitely
do that. What we can do is we'll put our email on the bottom. So that you can reach out to us.
Howard.
Yeah, I work in Howard University. I'm actually.
I was going to do a little Alpha Kappa.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mess it up.
Man, about strolling down strolling out the studio next.
No, I'm not. No, seriously. Like, we can be your resource. So what we would do is within this video, bottom you'll see our email at JebenaTalk@gmail.com. You can email us if you have any questions. But one thing we do want to promise within our community, as we all know, a lot of times our parents want us to wear a white coat. Yeah, they want us to wear a white coat.
You get that law degree, engineering degree.
My mom just wanted me to graduate high school.
Oh.
She said, I'm happy.
Yeah, my mom was like...
He made it.
Oh, no.
We made it.
Loans are one of those things where it's a very serious situation. And a lot of time, our younger generation is misled because we're not having this conversation over dinner, breakfast, or whatever you have with your family.
Yeah.
So your pops is pretty much saying, yo, you gotta be a doctor or X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like, okay, you know,
you put yourself through it because you want to satisfy them as opposed to actually satisfying what you want to do.
But when it comes down to it, you have to let especially the younger generation or your kids, let them explore. Let them understand what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to be engineers, go talk to an engineer. I mean, if you feel me? Like,
you don't want them to take on this challenge because they want to fulfill your wants for them. But at the end of the day, now they got a $300,000 degree
because of you.
Because of you, and they're not happy with their life.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, go ahead, man. You can.
I'm out.